What's going on, YouTube? If you ain't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Show that support. You know what I mean? It's free. But other than that, let's get into it. Today is going to be a video. We're going to be talking about either OTR or local. Which one would you prefer? Me, I've done both. I've did local and OTR. So let's start off with, I'm going to say local is harder. Being local is harder. It's more things that come into play when you driving or working local. First things first with local, sometimes most of the 90% you'll be home every day. 90% you'll be home every day. You might have to do a layover. A layover means that you will have to you'll finish your route. You're not going to be able to make it back in time to the yard, wherever your yard is located. So you'll have to get a hotel and, stay the night in the hotel. And then once your 10 hours is up, after you've been in the hotel, you can start driving back to your facility, wherever that's located. So, yeah, but that happens probably once every 2 to 3 months, depending on your route. If you got a route, meaning you got a route like 3 days or 4 days where you go out and come back every day, the fifth day you might have to do a layover. So you might have to make your stops depending on how many stops you got, and then after that you will have to go sleep in the hotel. The job will get you a hotel, and then after your 10-hour break you can come back to the facility. So that plays a big part in what sometimes you want to do. Some people don't like it, but first of all, you home every day. If you got to stay out one day out of the week and sleep in the hotel, it's not a biggie. It was all right with me. I didn't mind it. I'm going right back home, you know what I mean? So another thing about local is that off the rip, if you're just getting your CDL, you can land a good job. I'm not going to say you can't. I'm not going to say you have to go over the road. Back when I got my CDL 7 years ago, every job when I was trying to go local, every job told me that I had to go get 3 months of experience, like I said before. So with that being said, I did that, and then I did a few local jobs and stuff like that. You're going to go through jobs. Like, you're going to go through a few months of being here, being there, with being local, until you feel like you find the right one, because some of them is trash, some of them don't pay good. All those things play a part in local. So with that being said, another thing about local is you might feel like you're not getting a lot of sleep. You might get off your route and they might tell you to be back in 10 hours. You might live about an hour away. You have to drive an hour to get home. Basically, a 10-hour start soon as you clock out. Your 10-hour start soon as you swipe your card or soon as you punch out, whatever the case may be. That's when your 10 hours start. Your 10 hours don't start when you get home. So that's another thing. Local plays a big part with you getting sleep. And then depending on your home life, you might have young kids, or you might be a single parent and dealing with kids. That's going to all alter with your sleep. You're not going to get a lot of sleep if those factors play a part in your life. So be sure to keep that in mind. When you're going local, you might not get a lot of sleep. You might only get 6 hours of sleep, and then it's time to go back to work. You got to clock in at 1. You live an hour away. You got to get up an hour and a half before your clock in time so that you can make it in for that punch. You can punch in on time. And then going into that, some jobs when you first start, your first 90 days, you cannot be late 3 times. You can't get 3 points within the 90 days. So that will also be hard. You're not getting sleep. You can't get 3 points in 3 months. Like, that is almost impossible. It can be done, but it can be hard depending on the factors of how you living. So that's another thing. You get the 90-day grace period and you cannot get 3 points, or you can get review for termination depending on what job you're working. Some jobs first starting local is very strict. So keep that in mind. Another thing is those are a couple things that's probably the cons. Pros is you do make a good decent amount of money. You do make a good decent amount of money weekly. I say about, now you could going local, you can make about between 1,000 and 1,300 depending on what state you live in or whatever those cases might fall in to be. But you can make some good money being local. I'm not gonna say you can't. Some people getting on here talking about you can't find a job fresh out of school. You could. You just have to search. A local, you can't get it. Let me rephrase that. You can't get a job local fresh out of school. You could. Me, I couldn't. That was 7 years ago. But now, truck drivers that's getting into driving trucks, you can get a local job being local. So don't let nobody tell you that you can't. You just have to search, call around, and then it's also about who you know. What else about local? It's hands-on. Most jobs being local is hands-on, meaning if you don't know what hands-on touch freight mean, you'll be in the back of the trailer with either a pump jack or you'll have a small mini electrical jack that you have to maneuver pallets around. Some trailers, some jobs have lift gates. You'll have to be in different states. Another thing, if you got a job like on a CNS account or what else, a McDonald's account, those are very, how you say, those are very hands-on. You have to be real skilled to be in those type of environments. You'll be in the city, the 5 boroughs, Manhattan, Bronx, Queens, the other boroughs as well. Like, those are very, you gotta have your head on the swivel. It's all types of things going on in these environments when you in this big tractor trailer. It's all types of things going on. So also keep that in mind. Another thing about being local is you get your uniforms. They give you uniforms. Another thing about being local is that they provide everything. Like, you don't have to worry about nothing when it comes to being local. I mean, nothing. All you have to do is get to work and be to work on time. That's the only thing you have to worry about. Equipment, issues on the road, tires popping, anything in that matter, breakdowns, they take care of all of that. The only worst thing that might happen to you is if you're not able to get back, you'll just get put in a hotel. They're going to take care of everything. So now we're going to switch to OTR. It's a different ball game. OTR, if you're a company driver, some of those things with being local falls under the same category. You don't really have to worry about nothing if you're a over-the-road company driver. But it plays a different part either if you're leasing a tractor trailer, leasing it to own, or you doing your little financing with your own truck from a or dealership or something like that. That's how you get in your truck. And then also if you also if your rig is paid off, your own. Let me repeat that. When you're over the road as a lease driver, lease purchase to own, or you own your own rig, you are on your own. They're not holding it. Well, they do hold your hand with, let me explain lease to purchase. Lease to purchase means you go to a company, sometimes if you don't have money, whatever your situation is, you don't have money, they have brand new trucks or used trucks. You don't got to put money down in some cases. So they're gonna give you the truck. You have to drive for them. They're gonna give you a trailer, give you a truck, and you're basically leased onto them until your truck is paid off completely, trailer paid off completely, whatever the case is. And it's basically they're holding your hand. You on your own, but you're not fully on your own yet. They're holding your hand. If you don't have money for repairs, if a tire pops or if a breakdown, they'll handle it, but it's gonna come out your following check. Let me repeat that. You're still paying for it, but if you don't have it up front, it will come out your following check and you will be broke. Lease purchase and owner operators, when you're leased under a company, when you're pulling for a company, if something goes wrong, they don't care about nothing if they have to pay for it. If you get paid and your fuel come out and your trailer insurance come out, the cargo insurance come out, the IFTA come out all on the same week, and you owe them about $500 for 2 tires getting blown out and they had to pay for it, they will leave you broke. I'm gonna tell y'all, man, they will leave you broke. Your check will be nothing when you just worked and grossed about 5 or 6 grand. They're going to take out all your deductions. They're going to take out all your fuel. They're going to take out everything that needs to be taken out. And on top of them paying for whatever they just paid for, whatever amount to be, they will leave you broke. So if y'all out there and y'all want to do a lease purchase program, please be aware of these things. They will hold your hand, but on the back end, they're going to take everything. They're going to take everything back. You might be left broke. Don't get discouraged by that. These are just things I'm telling you so that y'all can keep in y'all minds that this is what goes on out there. You will make good money. It will be weeks that you make good money out there. You will make good money if this is what you want to do. But also keep in mind, you got to be saving because your transmission harness could go out. That's what happened to me. It costed me $4,700. Had to pay it up front to keep it rolling. Because sometimes if you break down and you broke down for a week, you're not going to get paid. You're not going to get paid. Depending on how the scheduled payment is, on how you get paid at that job, you're not going to get paid. If you're out for 2 weeks, you're not going to get paid for 2 weeks and the next week. I'm speaking for me. This is what happened for me. These are things that happen to me, and these are things you have to go through, so you have to have money saved because it definitely get rough out there. You will go through breakdowns. You will, if you owe OTR, whatever you're doing, you will go through breakdowns in different states. You will. I was broke down a few times. I was broke down in Tennessee for about a week and a half. Something was wrong with a Peterbilt that I had. I had to get a hotel for a week and a half. I'm out of Connecticut, so I can't leave until my truck is ready. That's another thing. You're going to be mad, but just make sure you got money saved. These are things that happen when you're over the road. Believe me, these are things that happen. So you got to keep in your mind, this is no walk in the park, but it's not hard. Believe me, it's not hard. If I could do it, you could do it. It's not hard, man. It's not hard. Another thing about OTR, depending on your job, how long you've been working there, you could take as much as home time as you want. You could, when you're leasing or when you own your own truck. I'm not sure about a company driver. I never did over the road and was a company driver. I always leased a truck. That's what I did. Because I didn't have 30 grand at the time to go put down on the truck and take it off the lot. So you know what I did? I found one of these jobs. They got a lot of jobs out of Chicago that you could get on with if you're looking to lease, doing a lease purchase. They got a lot out of Chicago. So that's what I did. I found a job and I went and put, I think, 6 or 7 grand down on a truck, brand new, brand spanking new, 2021. 0 miles on it. You just have to find that job and, contact them and talk to them and see what they got. Just got to be careful. So those are things you got to be aware of. About the home time, when you're a company driver, like I said, I'm not sure about the home time. I'm not sure how that go. But in my position, once you get your foot in the door and you work for about probably a year, you could do whatever you want. You could do whatever you want. You could work for 3 weeks and come home for 3 weeks. Just know when you get back to work, you're not going to get paid. So you always got to keep that in mind. Make sure you got enough money put up so that you can have that revenue for when things get worse or when things get rough. You could take, that's another thing with OTR, you could take as much time off as you want. Local, you can't, you barely could take time off. The only way you're going to take time off being local is if you first get in the door and they hire you, tell them you plan your vacation ahead. Yo, hey, I got a vacation in September. You're gonna have to book it ahead of time, because if, like I said, them points rack up after your 90 days, I believe they give you like 8 or 9 points to get. When you take a day off, you got an emergency, your daughter in the hospital, or you're sick, you're gonna get a point. And don't think 9 points is a lot, because them points can rack up. The points can rack up fast. So be mindful with the OTR and local if you're deciding on which one to do. It's pros and cons in both. I didn't explain them all, but I feel like I'm explaining the important ones to you guys, because this is what took place with me. So, don't forget, show that support. Make sure you subscribe on my video, on my channels. And if y'all got comments, put y'all comments underneath. And stay safe out there and be aware.